The expectations are sky high in Lincoln as the Nebraska Cornhuskers enter their third week of the season undefeated, 2-0 with a big-time FCS foe on the schedule. None other than the Houston Christian Huskies coming out of the Longhorn State. So in today's video, I'm going to give you a comprehensive and complete preview of this ball game. What does Houston Christian bring to the table? What are the massive strengths of that team that we need to watch out for? What are the glaring weaknesses that we need to exploit? What are the 5 keys to the game? Not only for Nebraska to win, but to dominate. Could we potentially get upset? We'll talk about it and everything else you need to know. So really quick, if you're excited about Saturday, I know I am, hit that like button. And also, if you're a diehard Nebraska fan and you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? For daily Husker content just like this, it's no-brainer. It takes 2 seconds. Join the family, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, we have a lot to talk about. The expectations, they are sky high in Lincoln. People are expecting 9 wins. People are expecting potentially 10 in a college football playoff berth. It's crazy how 1 week changes things. Coming off Cincinnati, some people are pessimistic, and then suddenly you beat Akron by about 70 points, and everybody's starting to sip the Kool-Aid again. So everybody's feeling good, but you can't take weeks off. And when we look at this game on Saturday, we say, okay, we're playing an FCS team. We should beat them. But that would be doing a massive disservice to Houston Christian. There are a lot of things they do well. There is a chance they give us a run for their money. And I'll tell you this, they have a lot of talent. So we're going to talk about the massive strengths of that team. What are the weaknesses? How do we dominate? Not just win, but dominate, and everything else you need to know. So I want to start things off with the scouting report, the strengths of Houston Christian. If they potentially upset us, how does that happen? Let's start things off. So we know the Houston Christian right now, they are 1-1 on the season. They began their year against Arkansas Baptist. I got a lot of texts about this, a lot of concerned Husker fans. The Huskies won 69-0. So we beat Akron 68-0. Houston Christian, they one-upped us. They won 69-0. So granted, this was against an NAIA squad, but at the same time, you can't, control who you play, and they absolutely dominated in all phases of the ball game. However, last week they played Eastern Kentucky and they lost 20-10, but there were a lot of things they did well in that ball game that we should be concerned about going forward. So I want to start things off with the first strength that we need to watch out for when it comes to Houston Christian. This is their running attack. They have a lot of talent in that running back core. You start with Ja'Shawn Edwards. He's a true freshman coming out of Texas. He's played Texas high school football, the highest level. So when he comes to Nebraska, he's not going to be afraid. He's been in big moments before. If you're from Texas, you know how important high school football is to that state. So again, he's very familiar with it. He's 5'9", 175, but already in 2 games, he averages 7 yards a carry, 4 touchdowns, and 200 yards on the ground. So, watch him on film. He's somebody who has a lot of speed, a lot of upside. I could very well see him, run for about 1,000 yards this year and transfer up to the FBS ranks. That's the type of trajectory he's on. He's a very talented running back. Houston Christian, they probably got a steal in the type of back he is. So, again, he could give us a run for our money. But, you even go to some of the other guys they have in the running back core. You got Darrell Evans, who is a veteran. He's been around the block a couple of times. He's been around college football. But you go this year for the Huskies, he's about 130 yards, 3 touchdowns, 4 yards a carry. So, again, somebody who's more of their thumper around the goal line, they'll give to Darrell Evans. But, again, also some pretty decent statistics to his name. So, they have a pretty decent running back core. Not necessarily with their offensive line, but their running backs, they have talent. They can do a little bit of everything. They can catch passes. They can absolutely have that speed, explosiveness. If Houston Christian were to beat us, it's because they established the run. And, honestly, Nebraska, we have had a little bit of trouble doing that. We definitely had trouble against Cincinnati. They averaged 7 yards a carry. And even against Akron, Akron's starting running back averaged about 5.5 yards a carry last week, which is pretty much unacceptable, right? When you're playing Akron, for them to average 5.5, that's crazy, right? So Nebraska, we need to shut down the run. But, if that doesn't happen, Houston Christian, they do have a chance to make this a very competitive ball game. And then you go to their defense. They have some issues on defense. So we'll talk about that. But one part of Houston Christian that people really don't talk about is their ability to force turnovers. Not only this season, but last season. They did the exact same thing, particularly in the secondary. In 2 games, they've already forced 3 interceptions, and they probably should have had more. I mean, watching the film, there was a couple times where they're, members of the secondary, their corners or safeties, they dropped a couple picks here and there. So, again, they can force turnovers. They have a lot of speed in that secondary in particular. Not necessarily a lot of size. They don't have a lot of players, who are 6'1", 6'2". So, hopefully, some of our taller receivers could take advantage of that, whether it's a Quinn Clark or Dane Key, but they do have a lot of speed, and they do have a lot of scrappy guys in that secondary who can't take the ball away. So God forbid, Dylan Raiola kind of sleepwalks in the ball game. He throws a couple jump balls. I wouldn't be shocked if Houston Christian kind of makes him pay for that, because they have shown the ability to take the ball away. And at the exact same time, they can also force that ball free. They forced a couple turnovers in their first couple weeks. So watch out for that when it comes to HCU. And then last but not least, the last strength around them, they're pretty efficient, particularly on defense. Yes, they did lose to Eastern Kentucky last week, but look at the Colonels' efficiency on third down. 1 for 16, okay? So Houston Christian, they've shown the ability that they're a very well-coached team, particularly on defense. They can take the ball away. They can stop you on third down, fourth down. Nebraska, we have had a little bit of trouble, particularly on fourth downs, particularly inside the red zone as well. So, they have shown the ability to stop teams, and they could probably stop us too. So we'll watch out for that. But again, they're a very well-coached team on that defensive side. So those are probably the only strengths around Houston Christian. But, let's be real. The rest of their team's not very good. And that's what you'd expect, right? They're kind of a middle-of-the-pack FCS squad. You start off with their offensive line. They gave up 7 sacks versus Eastern Kentucky, which is not acceptable. I can't imagine what's going to happen versus Nebraska. Now, granted, Nebraska, we've not done a very good job getting to the quarterback, but if they gave up 7 sacks last week, they're going to have trouble, right? So their offensive line, not very good in the pass pro, but they really don't create the biggest holes for their running backs. Yes, their running backs are productive, they're speedy, but if they had a better offensive line, they probably would have averaged 200 yards a game, 300 yards a game rushing, right? So I just don't feel like their offensive line is going to give us any trouble, and also they're all pretty much very undersized. They do have a turnover issue. Yes, they take the ball away, but they also give the ball right back. They had 5 fumbles last week. Okay, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. 5 fumbles last week. That was egregious, okay? It was their quarterbacks, their running backs, their wide receivers dropped a couple. So, again, they have an ability to put that ball on the turf. Nebraska, we had to take advantage. We had 0 takeaways versus Akron. We only had 1 versus Cincinnati. Take the ball away. That's my challenge to Nebraska this week. You go to some of the other flaws. They don't have a good quarterback. That's expected, right? He's not a game changer. He's not even really a veteran. So their quarterback's not very good. You don't have to worry about him. He's not mobile either. Okay, their wide receivers aren't very good. They don't have a lot of talent there. They have a lot of penalties, similar to Nebraska, but they had 7 penalties last week. And listen, they're an FCS squad. They're not a North Dakota State. They're not even a North Dakota, right? They're not a team that's really going to give us too much trouble. Like, I do believe they're a decently coached squad. They're on the upward trajectory long term. But this is not one of those FCS teams that you start sweating at. They're not a team that really has proven that they're going to be competitive against a team like us, right? Not necessarily because Nebraska's arrived. We're not a top 25 team in college football yet. But come on, when you look at the talent discrepancy, the coaching discrepancy, Nebraska should blow this team out of the water. So let's go to the keys to dominate. And not only the keys to dominate, but the things that we need to see as Nebraska fans for the longevity of this squad, what we're looking for on Saturday. Number 1, this defensive line needs to eat, okay? And I'm talking about getting to the quarterback. That offensive line, Houston Christian, they can't compete. They're not very good. We need 6+ sacks. The fact that we had 0 sacks versus 0 sacks versus Cincinnati, and we only had 2 sacks versus Akron, that was unacceptable. That can't happen this week. You got to have 6 or 7 at the very minimum, okay? I want you to plug some running lanes. I want you to, get in the backfield a couple times, get their running backs down, get their quarterback down. I want to see some of these young guys develop, like a Gay Moore, a Cade Petchak. I want to see Ryven Popple dominate in particular, because I think he should start as the year progresses. So, number 1, this defensive line, they got to dominate every phase of the ball game. You go to number 2, I want multiple turnovers. Okay, we've only had 1 turnover on the year. Okay, and that was Malcolm Hartsock's interception. So I don't want just 1 turnover. I want 3, because the Houston Christian, they've shown the ability to put that ball on the deck, and they've also shown the ability to throw interceptions as well. Okay, so they have a turnover issue. Take advantage of that. Okay, jump routes, be aggressive, blitz. Okay, when you're tackling a guy, punch that ball for it. We never do that. That's probably one of the biggest flaws in Nebraska's defense. Okay, you watch some good teams around the country, Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon, they're constantly punching the ball out. Nebraska, we just don't do that. So I don't care who's bringing down, an opposing player. When you're bringing them down, punch that ball free, right? Because they have an issue. Number 3, this is very simple. Nebraska needs to fix their penalty issue. We need to fix that. Okay, we had 6 last week. Okay, and we had 3 versus Cincinnati. Granted, that's not too much, but all 3 of those penalties came in crucial moments. Okay, we got to stop these penalties. So my challenge to the team, 2 at the very most, but ideally you only have 1 or 0, versus Houston Christian. Number 4, I need Dylan Raiola to dominate. Again, I have some certain expectations for him, because I told you guys I'm going to be hard on Dylan, but the reason why I'm hard on him is because I know we can be a top 10 quarterback. So I have some certain, standards that I want to play to. Against Houston Christian, I'm looking for 300+ yards, 4 touchdowns, a completion percentage of 80%, That's what I want from him. I think it's very doable. Okay, I think he can get that in the first half if everything happens right. And then also I want TJ Lateef to play well, but not too well. I want TJ to play well, but not too well. Because if TJ plays too well, he might not be here next year because some teams might start calling because teams get desperate in the transfer portal, as you know. Number 5, this is my big lofty challenge to this team. The special teams looks good. We're kicking a lot through the uprights. We have not missed a kick so far. Archie Wilson looks good. The only problem I have right now is our return game. Not necessarily because it's been bad, but because we haven't brought one back. Okay, I want to bring one back on Saturday. So that's my challenge. Whether it's a kick return, punt return, I don't care. We need to have one return touchdown. Okay, from Jacory or Isaiah Mozee. Those are my 2 guys. That's my big challenge to the team. Number 6, these are the things I want to see. Figure out the running back depth. I don't even want to see Emmett Johnson play. Emmett, you've proved everything I need to see. You can have the week off. Okay, get ready for Michigan. You can play 1 series, Emmett. But I want to see Mekhi Nelson. I want to see Isaiah Mozee. I want to see, even a Quinn Ives. Figure out the running back depth. I want to see who can step up at middle linebacker. I have not been impressed with Marquez, Watson, Trent, or Buda Wright so far this year. Can they have a big game for once? I want to figure out our depth at wide receiver and at tight end, whether it's a Jeremiah Jones, Cortez Mills, Quinn Clark, Keelan Smith, Card Nelson, who can step up there. And last but not least, and this is my message to you, but also to the team, I want us to just have fun on Saturday. Have fun, because being a fan of this team should be fun. Okay, so don't downplay it. Oh, we're only playing Houston Christian. We should take this game very seriously. A win's a win. They're all treated the same. So enjoy Saturday, because we should win. Okay, and have fun. I hope the team has fun too, because that's going to be good for their nerves going into Michigan. So overall, those are the keys to the game. I'm going to save my prediction as always for Friday's video. Everything I think is going to happen along with the score prediction. So watch out for that video. But let me know everything you're expecting, your score prediction. Let me know down below in the comment section. If you're excited about Saturday, I also want to know too. Hit that like button and subscribe. As always, folks, go Met Rule, and see you in the next one.